Hello, I am Bear Wiseman, and I don't have an intro track for this. I'm doing something different this time. Uh, this is kind of a review, kind of a look back on the whole discography of the artist we're talking about today. Um, as you can clearly tell, I haven't done this before, but I've been thinking a lot about all the old album reviews I had that I had done on Musicalypse, that I had done on Tuonela. And when I was thinking, do I want to start moving all of those back to my website? I thought, maybe not. Maybe that's boring. Maybe that's living in the past. Besides, hey, maybe my opinions of these albums have changed over the years. So I thought instead of transferring all the old album reviews over to my website and all that sort of thing. Let's do something different. Let's look at the albums along with the band's whole discography and go from there. And I thought, you could listen to me blab all by myself, but it's more fun when I do it with friends. So today I have Kathy Criswell with me, and you maybe know her from being generally awesome or possibly her book, Aphrodite Rising, which that came out last year or this year? I don't remember what year it is.
March 1st.
So this year. Oh, incredible. Well, so welcome, Kathy, to blabbing with me again. We've done this once before.
Hi, thanks for having me. Ooh, I sounded so formal.
Ooh,
Hi, thanks for having me.
ooh, it's the bedroom voice. I love it.
It's the customer service voice.
So we're talking about this time around the third album from Auri III, Candles and Beginnings. What do you think so far?
I like it. It's very different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, that's true. I also
My
liked it.
first my first mistake was expecting anything. You can't have expectations.
I think that's possibly one of the things that I love the most about this band. Is just,
Yeah.
let them play in their playground and then just go and enjoy it when they're done.
It's like trust the process, but trust the artists too, you know? They know what they're doing.
Yeah. No,
It's not
truly,
their
I
first rodeo.
Yeah, the one thing I never understand is when people have this vivid image in their mind of what they expect the album to be and then it's nothing like that and they get really mad about it. Like,
Do you want to know something super funny though?
yes.
So I had mock-ups made for the sequel to Aphrodite Rising that I've just been kind of looking and playing around. And the one that I had decided, I kid you not, was green leather with a gold flecked stamp in the middle that said just pretend. And I was like, okay, well now I have to change it because it's not the same at all, but it's too close for people to not look and be like, oh yeah, that's inspired by. I'm like, I
Mm.
made it first. But I don't have a copyright on the color green. So I feel like I've taken enough from them though. Maybe maybe I should just think a little harder. I can do it. That's fine.
Just as you said that, I just realized that technically speaking, the cover of the Vitmar Chronicles Volume 2 is green with gold.
I know.
It's a
Because
good
I
color scheme.
it is. It's fancy.
Sometimes you just gotta go with what works, and sometimes everyone apparently picks the same thing at the same time.
I'll
Oops.
figure something out. Maybe I'll make another handmade cover.
Ooh. Well, I did like the
I
last
probably
one,
won't.
so.
It took like 18 hours to do.
Well, so do you want to talk about the new album first, or do we want to, cover a bit of the old stuff first and then hit the new album chronologically?
I Whatever's good with you. The fun part about this album is that there's parts, and I don't know if it's just because I recognize like a specific key or a specific note that an instrument hits, but I feel like there's tons of teensy little callbacks to the first two albums in this. I say tons, but I think I only know like two. But but I can hear things in like the orchestrations or the like Troy's little instrumentals, and I'm like, I've heard that before, but where? So a lot of it, I think, came from. I think a lot of these songs sound like they are related to them, their chanterelles. Because if you listen to like the pipes and like the violin, you're like, uh-huh, and the fiddle.
Mm. One of my favorite things about these guys is their attention to detail when they do music. Like all those little tiny things that they do, like the cat jumping on the piano, or as Johanna said in the interview I did, like there's the Lord of the Rings closing at the end of one of these
Yeah,
songs or something
that's
like that.
and it's not. I'm not gonna be like it's not for fans. It's not for fans. It's for
Mhm.
them. They did it for
Yeah,
them because they're nerds and they have to
yeah.
put nerdery in everything.
And there's just something like I love about that creative spirit where you're like, I could have this not here, or I could have this here, and I'm gonna have this because to me that makes it more special.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful.
Also, it's just endearing.
Mm,
Like I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to demystify. I don't want to say celebrities because that feels like such a cheap word.
mm.
Like artists that are well known and well regarded, it's nice to humanize them a little bit because, especially since Auri II came out during COVID and all their, like, even their press was all done, like, at a distance and stuff like that, except for you. But like, it's nice to humanize them because we see people in two-dimensional photos all the time and seeing them in real life and like interacting them, it makes them feel like a human instead of like an entity. And I think that helps a lot. So when they're nerds and you're nerds and you can nerd about the same things. Do you remember one time? I think it was the first time I ever met Johanna. I talked about meshing the King Killer Chronicle and Skyrim together.
Yes. Oh my
It's
gosh.
so fun. I love doing stuff like that. And if you can do that with people that you enjoy, like, come on. Why wouldn't
Truly.
you?
Absolutely. No, it's fun. And I love just like this type of music that is so free of anything, like they're not trying to be a certain genre or anything like that. They're just like, here's all of the wonderful, fantastical, mystical, magical things that makes us who we are. Now let's mush that into how much we love each other as people and the things that like make us connect as people, and then
Hmm.
like put all of that in as fuel, and then this music is what comes out, and it's just wonderful. And then, we fellow geeks, we hear that music and we're like, oh gosh, this is the kind of music I've been looking for my whole life. And then we sit down
Yeah.
and we write fantasy stories, and then we name them Aphrodite Rising or things like that. And I love this sort of landsliding of joy, I'll just call
It
it.
also is kind of like, you know, I don't know if this is just a very strictly Midwestern American thing, but at like carnivals and fairs where you have the merry-go-rounds that go very slow and you have the horses, it's like picking people up as you go on your little like creative spiral because like music can inspire a book, which could inspire music. Or like if you read a book and you have a line from it and you're like, I've been looking for that combination of letters and words my whole life. And then you're just like, whoa. And someone was like, yeah, I thought of that when I was in the shower. Like, it's just
Yeah.
crazy what people's brains can come up with. And it feels so good to support people who genuinely love and appreciate each other on such a
Yeah.
very, very obviously profound level.
Absolutely. That's just like, having been a journalist as long as I have at this point, you can tell sort of when people are faking or when there's hubris or something. And I feel like especially Tuomas gets a lot of that, which I don't really get because he's always been, I felt like, a very genuine and very honest person to me. Maybe that's just people's preconceptions. I'm not sure. But either way, like, I don't feel like there's a lot of this, like, delusions of grandeur. I think it's just a lot of love, and the stuff they
You,
love is very geeky, and people
yeah,
get passionate about that. And there's also like the poetic side of it that like if you're a poet, you're not generally known for being subtle. Usually like big flowery grandiose ways of expressing
yeah,
things are kind of the like mainstream main line for poetry.
yeah. And also, like, someone who is unafraid to be extremely vulnerable, even if the like the audience doesn't quite get it. Could you
Mm.
imagine keeping like a journal or a diary and then having to compose music based off of one of your like 13-year-old journal entries, and then now it's literally in the ether forever and people listen to it and have tattoos on it and you have to answer questions about it? Like that didn't happen 30 years ago. Do you know what
Yeah.
happened 30 years ago? I was 6. I was writing stories about the bugs in my yard.
Mm.
If I
Yeah,
had
it
to
was.
like live with a discography about bugs in my yard, I don't know what I would do.
I mean, that might also be an amazing discography, though. So you never know.
Well, too bad because I don't do music. So,
I'm a little sorry now, just for comparison, like that I didn't, when I was just back in Canada, bring back all of the artwork that I did when I first started doing artwork, because I've
mhm.
refused to throw any of these out because they're all, well, part of it's nostalgia because I started drawing
Yeah,
these things 1,000 years ago, and I don't want to get rid of them because they show my evolution. But it would have just been fun to show like one of the new ones and one of the old ones and just remind people that sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something.
get something.
Quote,
Yes.
Adventure Time. Great
Yeah.
show.
I wish I could finish it. I just animated shows don't really stick in my head very well, so I
Mm,
just as me watching anything is nearly impossible unless it's a movie and I can watch it like on a weekend. I
mm,
watch more cinema on airplanes than I do in real life.
mm.
Airplanes are not real life, apparently.
I mean, that's why I got to watch the Mario movie lately, so that was
I watched
surprisingly good.
Nomadland
Ooh,
when I was on my way to the
over here
Netherlands
somewhere?
to see Altamillen Road. I had a whole aisle to myself, and I watched Nomadland, thinking it was just like a film. Cue me bawling my eyes out like 2 hours later, and the lady being like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, thank you."
It was me last month or the month before, whenever I was just coming back from Canada watching The Last of Us.
Oh, which season?
I think, about 7 episodes through the first season.
Oh boy, yeah, that's the first season's really good. The second
Yeah.
season's also pretty good, but it's no spoilers for me.
Yeah, just good show. We got off topic. We were
Yeah.
supposed to be talking about Auri. I doubt anyone cares.
I mean, Tuomas is one of his favorite video games is The Last of Us Part Two, which that's very justified because it's a phenomenal game. One of
Mm.
these days, I'll sit down with him and we'll just talk about video games for like 4 hours. It's fine.
The dream, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like there has been a significant sound change over these albums? My thought was, it's so hard to even like find a uniform sound for a first album, like, or for
Yeah.
any of the albums. Like the first one maybe has this sort of like lullaby-ish sort of
I don't
quality
want to
to
call it
it.
quiet, but it's a very, I don't want to say toned down because that's not what I mean either. It's not loud or in your face. It's very easy listening
Yeah,
with really smart lyrics. But musically, I wonder if it's because, I don't know. See, I like to romanticize everything and I fill in stories where I don't know what happened, and that's how things start. So I will not be theorizing. Thank you.
no, but I know what you mean. It's really hard to describe because, like, Lullabies was kind of the only thing I could come up with for the first album, just because it's not quite toned down enough to be like just ballads or ambient or anything like that.
No.
But it's very like less is more, very kind of like understated and like,
Vocally, it's very similar. All the tracks are not the same at all, but they're very
mm,
similar.
yeah.
And so, not to talk about the grand scheme of things, and if I start rambling, please cut me off because I can ramble. Um, so if you look at like Johanna's last solo album, which would be Ingrid. Um, it's different from all the other ones, and it's like a nice little venture into things that aren't romance. And then I
Mm,
think a lot of it is none of the songs on Auri One are just like an outright romantic ballad, which is
yes.
so different from everything else in that genre. So if you
Yes.
think of bands that are like compared to them, like First Aid Kit or stuff like that, those are all romance songs, which is
Mm,
fine because what it's fun to sing about love. Well, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't sing or really care about love songs that much. If you want a controversial opinion, my least favorite Johanna song is Rakaslalu. So
Oh, I
I know. I'm gonna get deported.
I'm trying to think of which one that was, but we
Let's
were
see.
listening to her best of album. There's what's the
Blooper reel.
song about like you were the boy on the beach and like I had a handful of shells and stuff like that.
Oh.
I
Oh
can't
God,
think of
that's
what it's
like her
called.
entire first album. I'd see, you'd have to, the problem is with all the songs that are kind of just like general romance songs,
Mm,
I don't know them unless I hear them because I don't know what half of them mean.
yeah.
I know what the words in them mean to like give me context, but
Yeah, it's
is it
such a
Olin Sinusa?
pretty song. Sorry?
Is it Olin Sinusa?
I couldn't tell you the name of it because we were
Which
listening to it in the sauna.
I theorized that it was about demonic possession because
Oh,
that'd be funny. It's
we
not, but
we really do need to go through her whole discography at some point. But
it's good.
it is. It really is. But I feel like you can definitely tell that there's like somehow it feels as such a sunny person as she is, there's something that's too flowery about it. Like she does have that like gothic cool to her that's always been there, and like when you sweeten someone who's already sweet, it becomes kind of saccharined or something like that.
It's characteristic. She seems like fictional, like she's
Yeah.
cosplaying something. I don't know. I also just care about people's mental health.
Mm,
But when you make the conscious decision to leave a career behind,
mm,
like the big decision in 2015, that was not obviously an easy decision at all. So it probably came with a lot of like this is the last straw type mentalities.
mm,
Because as sweet as she is and as kind as she is and as nice as she is, if you look at the interviews and press from around that time, she's very clearly, very kindly saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't be told what to do anymore with my
mm,
voice, with my tone, with my colors. And then so immediately Auri I comes out. She's got dark hair. Like she looks completely different, by the way, with dark hair. That's how
mm.
I didn't recognize her for so long. Um, and I think I talked about that in a podcast forever ago, but like how I didn't recognize her at first. I didn't know who that was. She looks so tiny, just like
Mm.
with the big black hair. And you know, the stereotype is when a girl gets bangs and dyes her hair black, you know, maybe she's
Yes.
going through something. And so, and because I am someone who just romanticizes everything, I'm like, maybe Auri I was just tentative.
Mm,
Like it was very like, and some of the songs had been written, like I think I heard in an interview, like Aphrodite Rising was the very first Auri song,
mm,
um, back in like 2011, and that had
mm.
already been recorded. So like, I don't know, it just feels very like testing the waters, but also kind of like a finally I'm here on the other side. I'm just gonna sing the little heart out. I don't have it in me to be a whole working person yet, so I'm just gonna like put myself in this little position and I'm just gonna sing some songs.
That's actually a really good point now that you say it. The like it does feel I would have never thought of this if you hadn't mentioned it because they are objectively such big artists, but it does now that you say it feel like such like a testing the water album of like, hey, what what can we do here? Like let's create the genre of fantasy music and what might
Yeah,
that sound like, and let's
yeah.
throw all of the rules out the window and make a song about a drunk girl in the woods picking mushrooms. Like,
It's so simple.
incredible.
It's so simple that people don't get it.
Mm,
And I think a really good thing to think about is as well, like Tuomas Holopainen. I've never officially met him, but I've given him the bro nod about 12 times. Um, and he is someone who just seems so down to earth and humble.
mm,
He is always centered in all these conversations, and you can tell that's not, even after 30 years, that's not comfortable. Like
mm,
you get good at it, but does that mean it's comfortable? No.
mm.
So like it's finally a point for him to decenter himself because
Yeah.
you know, like music and society, they care so much about looks that we knew that Johanna would end up like the focus of a lot of people's attention when it came to this music. But
Mm,
fans of Nightwish or even Troy's music came to it. And if you like take like Troy's solo album and then like Scrooge and put it together, like you get Auri.
mm,
Like it's like simple math, but they don't. I don't know, it's really cool, and it's really cool to see all of them being themselves outside expectations, but also creating almost new identities. Like, you have a pre-2015 and a post-2015, which is, like, in my head when Auri really started becoming, like, a forefront of their mind.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, like, exploration too of just like, hey, like, we've all been making different sorts of music and like dabbling in this and that together, but let's like let's actually like see what we can do with this. And I love
Yeah.
anyone who takes that dive, especially when you're really known for something like Tuomas is, that like you can still tell sometimes that there's a little hint of like the classic Holopainen, but it's surprisingly not as prevalent as you would think it might be. I think it was kind
Yeah.
of the same when like when Marco Hietala's first solo album came out, people were like, "Whoa, this sounded like nothing we expected," and we were like, "Why did you expect it to sound like Nightwish?" So
Also, if Tuomas wanted to make Nightwish music, he would make it with Nightwish. They have all
exactly,
the tools. They're not forced to do any of these things with any band. And like Johanna was known for really sugary, sweet, romantic music and then like sad girl jams. So
yeah,
like instead of that, like, and I think also something notable about the first album is that I don't really think she had any writing in it. And
mm,
so it's like straight like from the lyrical catalogs of Tuomas and Troy. And as much as it frustrates me to no end, because I am one of those people who likes to know everything if I can, I love not knowing who does what because I will
mm,
theorize on it. Like when I'm sitting at a red light, I'll be like, I wonder who wrote The Duty of Dust. I'm like, it could be this person because they use this word, but
mm,
it could be this person because I think they talk this way. And I'm like,
mm.
these people live rent free in my head, I guess.
That's sort of like the beauty of a mystery, I think, is that
Yeah.
like it gives you something to ponder.
And
It's
I'm not
fun.
entitled to that answer.
Mm,
And I've almost asked it probably like 8 times, and I'm never going to because it's not for me to know. If they want me
yeah,
to know, they'll tell me.
yeah. No, it's wonderful. So then how do you feel like it evolved into Auri II? Because I definitely think that, as you're saying, like they kind of got a little bolder, took a little further in certain directions, they got a little creepier already, and
Yeah, first off, the idea of an entire album starting with a cat jumping on a piano, my
yes.
wheelhouse. You've got me, hook, line, and sinker already. I want to see the video. Like, and just it's playful. It's they already had their baseline success because, as much as they say they just made it, the record label put it out. If it had flopped, Auri II would have been different. And also, I know they do it for them, but but I think Auri II, because I think if I'm not mistaken, it had been mixed and mastered, and then they waited a year, like they were told they had to wait a year to release it. So by then they were already focusing on Auri III, and so that's why I think 2 and 3 are so related, but the debut is still such a solid album. Auri
Mm,
II is very playful. It's very playful, and there is miniature world building in itself in it, like pearl
mm,
diving,
yes.
which is like if I'm ever sitting alone and I need to hum to myself, I will just hum Anchor Away to myself over and over and over. I probably look like certifiably insane.
That's such a good song, though. I can't even like. It's one of those ones that I feel like I like it just a little bit more every time I listen to it, and I can't explain why. It's just great.
I think for me, because I am biased, because as much as I've been a fan of Tuomas Holopainen since I was literally 12 years old, Johanna has a special, special place in my heart. And I think that was the first time I got to hear her sing from the bottom of her lungs. And I know
Mm.
that's not how it works, but in my head, that's how it works, where she got to like be loud and sing. And you can tell that she was alone with that mic in that room when she recorded it. Because like, that's full send. That's a full send right there. There's no holding
Mm.
back on that one.
Gosh, like there's something about her that just baffles me is because there's such like that tender fragility to her voice, and her ability to add power to that is something that kind of blows my mind
Yes,
because
it's a
I can
treat.
yeah, like I can sing along with her songs, like I can match her voice as weird as it is with my deep voice, but like I can't sound good doing it because like whatever it is, like, I don't know if I can't be that, like, gentle or something and then add power to it without it just all falling apart. So it's fascinating to hear, and even better live.
When, this is such an experience, and I hope that I never, ever, ever, ever forget it. When I was at the Eye of Million show that you couldn't go to, I was in the very front, and that stage, like when we saw Ultima and Road there, like they were close, but when this was happening, like her feet were like a hand's length away from me, which made me uncomfortable because I felt like I was up in her business, and I was like, I'm not, I'm sorry. And like people putting their phones on, I'm like, she's gonna kick your phone off the stage. Like, and so I was so close to her that I actually was like this far. And so when she was singing, the mic was like maybe just a spell right from my head. And so I could hear her singing into the mic. So not only was it a live performance, I didn't have any mic or any like vocal
Amp?
additions, like if there was a
Mhm.
reverb or anything. Like
Right.
I heard her sing live, and I keep saying raw, but like that's not really raw, but like and it was just so cool because I heard all that power. I heard I Have Million songs, but like I just got to watch her just like sing full send into this mic, and I'm just like, holy crap, this is so cool. How many people on earth have ever said they could see this? And then I'm like, Kathy, the vast majority of Earth has no idea what you're talking about, nor do they care. But I cared.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was fine. The people next to me were like, and then I just started bawling. That's just what I do. I don't cry a lot in real life, like ever, but these shows bring out something in me.
They are special on that front, and I think that's just part of the, like, there's certain types of artists who, like, you can tell they pour their whole everything into it when they perform, and like the right audience will just like absorb that and pour it back, and it becomes this like crazy exchange of energy. And I feel like Johanna's fans are so dedicated and so full of love that you get a lot of that at her shows.
They are some of the nicest and most wonderful people I have ever met. And I never, ever say that about fan communities, ever. So, like, um, truly some of my greatest friends, to be
Mm,
honest.
absolutely.
My life has improved because I know them.
Mm.
Hmm.
Definitely shout out to everyone. You guys know who you are. What's up?
The International Cheering Squad,
Yes,
we love them.
the best. So,
But yeah,
anything, what's your kind of take on, like, if the first album is kind of the tentative, uh softer, how would you wrap up the second one? I was struggling with this. I was kind of thinking like it's kind of mysterious and like an exploration of inspirations and imagination.
I think it was a product of finally being allowed to be a songwriter. And I say allowed tongue in
Mhm.
cheek. Everyone's allowed to be like a songwriter. I think the diversity to it comes from having three songwriters in it. So you
Mm,
have three distinct like writing styles, but you don't know whose is who
mm.
because everyone's like, yeah, I can tell which one this person wrote. I don't think you can. Like, you really can't. And I think this one is okay. My visual is, when people have graphs and they almost look like spider webs, like, and
Mm,
so like an infograph, instead of it being Auri I, which is just small and like a little bit this way, a little bit this way, Auri II gets bigger, so they go more pronounced in each direction. There's
mm,
spooky, there's drums that are really like percussion is really, really important. And then you've got songs like Kiss the Mountain.
mm.
I that song is always just like, oh yeah, I like this. But I was listening to the actual vocal like layers in it, and I'm like, oh my God, this took so long to make. And it works so well. It made me sit and like really think about how long it could take to just record a 3-minute song and all of its components. And so that one I think is way more layers. So like if you think of it in cakes, you've got Auri I, which is a single layered chocolate cake. And then you've got Auri II, which is like a double layer with some cool like ornaments on it. And then you've got Auri III, which is like one of those fancy like cakes that looks like, I don't know, the Mandalorian or something.
That's great. Yeah, no, like I feel like definitely a lot of the stuff from Auri II gets kind of turned up in Auri III. So, like, number one thing on that list, the spookiness. Oh my
Oh, I
gosh, the
love it.
spookiness.
It is. And so like when I first did my very first listen through, one of the favorite song that stuck out to me that I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be my favorite was Oh Lovely Oddities.
Mm,
Because it's like a very Tower of Terror in the 90s, 2000s. So like it's very Disney spooky.
mm. It's
It kind
it
of, yeah,
reminded
it's,
me of like just like the Fey witches are having a midsummer party in the woods or
yes,
something. Like I envision this sort of like Halloween town kind of vibe with like the blacks
yeah,
and the oranges, like the autumn goth sort of
yeah,
colors, like the warm colors, and then just like like the cauldron and the frolicking around the bonfire or something. But just
yes.
gosh, like you were just saying, like the layers of her vocals, the layers of her vocals in this song
So
are
important.
so great.
So to be very upfront, I am not a note taker by nature. I'm one of those people who relies very heavily on my head, which the older you get, the less reliable that is. So I wrote my notes in chronological order in like fragments, and I can't decipher half of them. But do you want to start from the Invisible Gossamer Bridge so we can go in order?
Yes, let's do that.
Some of these I didn't really like do a deep listen to until yesterday because like I said before we started recording, I've been working like 14-hour days. And also going to school. So like
I'm with
I
you.
was
I've only listened to it maybe like 4 times, which is not as much as I would like. Or if one of those
yeah.
had been like really focused, that would be better. But 4 times is
I'll
still
tell
enough
you.
to get some impression.
I'll tell you about my first listening experience. I'll okay. So I knew okay, so you sent me the files and immediately I was like, okay, gotta listen, gotta listen. And so I did like a very like quick like zoom, 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 zoom. I want to get to the good parts. And then like one of those Muppets that's freaking out. Like, yeah. And then I was at work and I'm like speed listening to these and I'm like, I'm not absorbing any of this. What am I even doing? This is so stupid. I am just excited. Why am I trying to come up with something that makes sense while also doing five things and also just the joy and dopamine of hearing an album from people that you love and are so 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 proud of. So I'm like, maybe I'll just stop and then I will go home. I have ginormous over the ear headphones that have a music setting that you can make yourself feel like you're in a music hall,
Amazing.
and they're noise canceling. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to put my headphones in. I'm going to turn off the lights. Like I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to listen. And I am someone who has a lot of anxiety, especially as the earth continues to get older and I continue to get older. And so it's really hard for me to stop my brain, like really hard. And to the point where like if I need to focus on anything, I mean, I'm really good at focusing, but if I need to like have solitary single focus on only one thing, I need to take away all distractions. And normally I can cope with that. But I was like, maybe I'll just get a little stoned. And because I wanted to, I'm a very visual person. I think in pictures and colors. And when I hear a song, a color palette appears in my head. And then
Yeah.
a screen cap will appear in my head. That's why, like, almost all of Auri II, I have music videos for every song in that in my head already. It's a good thing I'm not a director because I would be poor because I would want
Oh
to make
god.
all kinds of stuff. And actually, this is unrelated. I'll do it at a different time. But for this album, when I was going through it, I didn't realize I wasn't going through it in order the day that I did that. And so I listened to them out of order, which is not like a crime.
Mm.
But the last song I listened to coincidentally was the last song on the album. And so when we get to that song, I'll explain my grand finale moment and why I couldn't listen to the album for like a couple more days after that.
Oh god. I can only imagine.
That's why I'm glad I didn't. Okay, I never have to do anything, but that's why I didn't. I'm glad I didn't have to write a review because
Mm.
as much as I have little to say on this, it's because I keep saying the same thing over and over again. But like, it's still applicable in different ways. But I am that person who I don't like talking about things I don't know about.
Mm,
And I did my other little album things way after the albums had been out. So all the interviews had come out, all the knowledge was available, all the references had been figured out.
yeah.
So I had like some like an imposter syndrome doing this because I'm like, no one knows it yet. I can't talk to anybody about it. Like I can't ask anybody about it. Could you imagine if I just like called somebody from Auri and like, how do you personally interpret the word gossamer? Like, no, girl, that's what interview people are for. Like, you don't do that. But yeah,
It's like one of the things I love about them is that okay, I'm not discrediting Troy at all here, but just it's very clear that both Tuomas and Johanna already know all of the best words in English without needing an English speaker to
they
help them.
teach me words. They've taught me so many words. Do you know how fun that is, though? I love that.
It's incredible. But like just even this name, the Invisible Gossamer Bridge, is incredible to
Yes.
me. It's like I immediately want to go write a fantasy story about this. It's going to be 2.5 pages long, and I don't know what it's about, but I just want to do that based off a name alone.
I love doing that. That's why one day I would like to just sit down with the people of Auri and just spitball plots and
Yes.
brainstorm and just, God, I think I just want to talk to them, to be honest. Like, hello, do you want to be my friend? Can we talk about ideas and imagination,
Can we just do a
please?
documentary that's called like Creative Camp with Auri, and then it's just like a weekend long thing where we interview them and everyone does creative stuff and then everyone shares and they can be the directors or something because they clearly know what they're doing,
We can make crafts.
right? Johanna can
Yeah,
teach us how to knit.
it's impossible.
Hmm.
I can't do it. I tried for like 30 seconds. And then I was thinking, like, why am I trying so hard when I have people around me who can already do that?
Okay, so Invisible Gossamer Bridge. First of all, as we said, great name. Second of all, friggin' beautiful. Third of all,
Yeah.
one of the first thing that I scribbled down about this was I love it for sounding like an intro track while being long and robust enough to actually qualify as a full track of its own. So it exists in that beautiful space where it's kind of an intro track but also kind of not.
Yes. And my first note is this brought tears to my eyes and I don't even know what I'm crying about. It sounds like in like the really poignant like war films where they have that funeral scene and everyone is like at attention and it's very serious, but the lyrics are sweet and it just says, I said, oh my god, Johanna Slay Queen. I don't know what that means. I say that anyway all the time. um and when her vocal harmonizing starts, I instantly relaxed, like my shoulders went down, I took a deep breath and I felt like I could just be, didn't have to be on. I could just turn off as a human finally. And then I don't really know how to interpret this so much, but I wrote Johanna's voice is like a bumblebee flying amongst a field of flowers because it's going like all over the place and zooming, but it still makes sense and it's just having fun.
Yeah, it's got that sort of like pixie, and not like the mischievous pixie. I'm talking like the little
No.
little fairy pixie sort of quality of
Mhm.
like I'm like dancing on my tiptoes from like flower petal to flower petal, and it's lovely. Just like
Do you
whimsical and
remember?
sweet.
Did you ever play Spyro?
I don't think I did. I've watched some people play bits of it, but
There's a little dragonfly called Sparks, and in my head, I was like, "She's Spark."
oh, that's
Um, I made up a like a, I don't want to call it a scenario because, but obviously we are not flies on the wall. Like we don't know
perfect.
their reason for anything, and I feel like a lot of the times, if you wanted the reason for something, they're not going to tell you because it's
No.
for them, it's not for you.
Hmm.
But I said because the gossamer is a thin and fragile string, like a spider web, and
Mm.
they were talking in an interview about how that like the invisible gossamer bridge between them, but the lyrics of that having that context, I was like it, your voice a beacon in my heart or something like that, the joy of receiving us songs from each other, or like
Mm.
the fragile string is the internet, and like maybe when someone was feeling really low or sad or maybe just needed a pep in their step, they received a bit of music from one of the other people and it brought joy to
Mm.
their heart, like. And so like it could be about the joy of just working with each other
Mm.
and how much they love and appreciate each other.
I love that. And like knowing who we're talking about here and the sorts of things they talk about generally, like that could even just be like the way we connect to each other as human beings, like, and
Yeah.
even beyond, like you and I are both grieving people who are very important to us.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that bridge can also even cross beyond even life. And I think that's like one of the most amazing things about love and connection in general is just like it can happen anytime with anyone, doesn't even need to be alive.
Yeah.
You know, people connect to the music of artists who've passed on, or films,
Yeah.
or books, or whatever. And
Hmm.
that kind of invisible gossamer bridge is that beautiful, fragile little thing that just connects all of us, perhaps.
Yeah. The end of it kind of reminded me of the beginning of the Circle of Life from Lion King.
Mm,
And so I think maybe it's just because there's percussion in it and I wasn't expecting
mm,
it. But then I was like, well, the Circle of Life is also a fragile string, depending on what
yeah.
mythology you adhere to. There's what song is it? Is it the last one? It says like she knits the fabric of life or something like that. That's what I
Um,
always think of. It's in A Boy Traveling with His Mother.
right.
But just the idea of someone knitting the thing of life, no matter what, I'm always going to compare it to Xena, because whenever anyone says anything mythology related, I'm like, Xena warrior princess. But if you cut that fragile gossamer string, like, your bridge is gone.
Mm.
Kind of like the bridge to Terabithia.
Bridges are great metaphors, honestly. Like,
I live
you can do
between
anything
literally
with
three of them. Three of them within a kilometer of me.
incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so the apparition speaks. I have just this like me freaking out kind of type of message that just says, "Holy shit, they took Johanna's tender beauty and transformed it into something haunting and deeply unsettling. She's like the voice of some unholy angel come to haunt your soul. This is chilling."
Um, I said, who is it? Who are they speaking to? Who is it speaking? Like, I know who's speaking, but like, who are they speaking as? And I was like, for a second, so I had the noise canceling aspect on my headphones turned on. And sometimes if you brush against the outside of your headphones, it'll sound funny. So I don't
Yeah.
know if it was in the actual track or if it was just something that was in my headphones. But for me, for a second, it sounded like they were underwater. And then I said, bass, whoa. And then, are you the rain recycling the sea? So if they were underwater,
That's so cool.
and I was having trouble, well, at this point, I was having trouble understanding words because it had
Mm,
been about, 12, 13 minutes since I had imbibed. Um, it's like, I can't hear you, and then I can't hear you, and then I can't hear you. I can hear you. Like, it just feels like, are you talking to each other and you're looking for each other? Are you two
mm.
ghosts that are in the same house and you can't hear each other? I actually have a draft in my uh, perpetual folder of books I'm never going to write of a woman in a house who falls in love with one of the ghosts stuck there.
Incredible.
And and it's just like, I can't hear you. I can hear you. But I'm wondering if it's a human and a ghost. Is it a human talking to themselves?
Did you ever see that movie, The Lake House?
I did not.
It just brought that to mind because what like
Oh
the it,
yeah.
it's the love story, but like they're I don't know how
And they're
much
in
it makes
different
sense.
time periods,
They
right?
are, but they're staying at the same lake house, and I should
Yeah.
rewatch that. I don't remember. I watched it at a point in time when I was too young to understand if it was good or not. So, but that had Keanu Reeves, right? And I like him, so I watched it like within 2 years of when it came out, and it came out in the early 2000s,
You
2010s,
should see
maybe.
if it was based on a book, because it sounds like something that would be based on a book.
It
I'm
probably
actually
was.
I This is separate, a sidebar, but I actually arc read a book and I'm currently reading a book that are very, very similar to that concept. It's really
Interesting.
cool. And I wrote down that this kind of reminds me of almost a prequel to Phantom of the Opera, the song,
Ooh,
not the whole musical, because it's
ooh,
giving like, yeah.
ooh! I like that. I'm
And
gonna
then
need to re-listen now.
it kind of feels like a ghost song, like the band Ghost.
Mm.
It kind of feels like it was in the genre of like whatever you could call ghost. Like
Scooby-Doo chase music.
feel like it's like theatrical, satirical metal. I don't know what to call it. Their their first album is where it's just ribbon on like choir music. But um what else did I write? Visually, this would be a really cool song to watch because of all the vocals in it and knowing that Johanna Kurkela will also be there.
Oh
And I know
God.
she's playing the keyboards, but I'm not, she has to be in on the vocals somehow. Like, I will riot if she's not. I know I don't
Truly.
talk about her much, but those two's voices, could you think of them singing spooky music together? Not like
Oh my
Ultima and
God.
Road where it's just sad,
Yeah.
but like spooky music together.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of
Soon.
us by a couple songs, but let's just say there's a couple songs on that album where they will have some potential to do some really cool stuff live if they go there. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to have expectations because expectations are dumb,
No.
but I'm just
And
looking
in
forward
all
to whatever they put
practicality,
together.
practicality would be to put a little bit of the vocal on Johanna Ivainen as well, especially if there's a show where they're doing Auri and Eye of Million. Like
Yes.
that's like 3 full hours of performing. And I know that Auri has a lot of instrumental breaks, but I
Mm.
don't know how singing works. I don't know if that's better or worse.
I think it's probably good to have the breaks in there, like I think Nightwish back in the day used to do songs like I think on one of gosh, the Nightwish fans are going to kill me for this. But the High Hopes
I'll fight
album,
them.
they did the
Hmm.
Pink Floyd cover of Highest Hopes. And I think those were generally included in the set list to give Taria a break. So I
Good, because like
assume that's good.
that album is really good. That was
Mm.
one of the very first albums I bought with my own money.
Ah,
Just so you
that's
know.
great.
Anyway,
Yes. So
what else did I have? Find me the opera. I can't hear you. Bass. Whoa. Because like, how often do you hear like a really chuggy bass in Auri?
truly, like
This album,
anytime I hear bass and it's not just boom, 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 boom,
right?
I lose it because I think bass is
Yeah.
such a great instrument and it gets so wasted a lot of the time because
Well,
people
and if
just
you can
use it
hear
as a
it,
rhythm marker.
yes, and a lot of times you can't hear it. You only hear
Yes,
what it adds.
exactly.
But
Exactly. That's
yeah.
why I love bands who don't waste their bass player. If you go read any of the reviews I actually have written, that's probably the number one complaint you'll hear is that I can't hear the
Oh my
bass
God.
player. Why do you
Oh,
even have a bass player?
oh, that's true. So I will have language.
Ooh, much more upbeat, much more whimsical and kind of like
Uh-huh.
a mystical intro, I want to even say.
Yes, I put this sounds like the soundtrack to going to the asylum. We're going on a Grippy Sock vacation. Let's listen to I Will Have Language. Um, at the end of this song, I have a comparison that'll I'll probably spiral out on, so I'll wait.
There's like I think this is the song that I had the most. No, sorry, Blakey Ridge is the one I have the most notes on, but this is a close second because I feel like and these are surely not in chronological order. It's like I listened to it 4 times and then I added things every time I listened. And so I've got, spiritually it kind of feels like Pearl Divers, but also sounds nothing like Pearl Divers. And then I just
Yeah.
wrote maybe question mark. Then
Um,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Then there's something a little Sonata Arctica-esque in the music at
Um, I have this feels like Alice from Alice in Wonderland. It feels like her internal monologue
now that's a good one.
because like if you think of like, oh, and then I put that damn violin, or is it a viola? I don't understand. I can't hear the difference. I have no music training. I have no passion for that.
Oh, that happens to me. Again, I'm gonna say it's in Blakey Ridge. I can't tell if it's a guitar or a mandolin or whatever, but I love it.
I just wrote that vocalization and then I just left it. So we're just gonna assume that's what I meant. Um What does that say? I know I am ready. Oh, yeah. This is a song to sing around a fire. If by
Mm.
some act of whatever celestial being is blessing me with this, if I ever get to sit around a fire with the people of Auri, I want to hear this song acoustic with just a guitar and Yuletide Bard. The hell? No, Fireside Bard. I want to hear those two. And I don't know if it was my headphones again glitching out, but was there breathing at the very end? Like just like steady breathing?
Maybe. It
I
wouldn't
don't know.
surprise me, at least.
And I think the funny thing is I half the time when I listen to Auri music, I don't understand it. But like that's not I mean that's a skill issue on my end. Like I'll wait for them to explain it to me if they're going to. But this because the vocals lyrics don't start until almost halfway through the song. Um I'm currently writing a book based on a screenplay that I wrote about a woman and her daughter going to a strange land. There's a much more nuanced description, but it takes forever. But in the screenplay, you don't hear anybody speaking until the middle of it. So it's all instrumental. You have to tell your story with instrumental. You have to tell your story with visuals. You have to tell your story with body language. So I'm
Perfect.
wondering if this will appear, if it has to be on the set list. Like, there's no way it's not. I wonder if the beginning of this will have a lot of visual body cue storytelling in a live
Mm.
setting.
I this one's just it's really good. Like it hits the like church choir level too with the vocals, and I feel like
Oh
this one
yeah.
spans just a lot of sounds in general. Like even
Yeah.
there's moments I felt like it was almost this kind of seaside or like nautical sort of ambiance of like not like not the like piratey Pirates of the Caribbean sense
No.
or anything like that, but just that sort of like I'm on a
Out at
ship
sea.
sailing in the new world or something like that. And
It's kind
there's
of like
that
a song you would sing by yourself. So like an
yeah.
internal monologue almost.
That strong string influence, like
Um,
giving that huge emotional punch towards the build up at the end is
mhm.
really, really nice.
I have a side note that says I feel wrapped in vocals, safe like a little burrito.
Swaddled
So
in
like
vocals.
I really honestly felt that. It was one of the first times where I laid down and I was like, whoa, I am surrounded by music and I feel it all around. And it's so nice to just be like, nothing can touch me because I am in a music burrito.
It's an incredible feeling. I
I
love
don't
that.
know.
I want to be in a music burrito.
I just would like a burrito as well.
I mean, can't go wrong with a burrito.
Yes.
So, speaking of the creepiest songs on this album, Oh Lovely Oddities. I know we already
I love
talked
it. I
about
love
this
it.
a
I love
little
it.
bit, but this is definitely, I think, one of the ones to look out for because it's like there's 100 little Johanna witches that are frolicking and partying, and it's incredible.
I used to have this visual when I was listening to The Duty of Dust, where like it's cartoony, like old, like very beginning Disney cartoon, like Steamboat Willie. And it's ghosts. And when the night is high and the moon is high and the night is young and everyone's asleep, they like come out of their graves and they just dance together and have little festivals and parties and they just catch up with each other and then they go to sleep when the sun comes up. And it's like this is their entrance into like waking up and being able to be social with each other. And I said earlier, it sounds like the like 90s really spooky, like Fox News, not Fox News, Fox Kids. Uh, very different. And like kids' cartoons in the 90s and 2000s, or like Tales from the Crypt, but the kid version. Like,
Mm. Did you
mhm.
ever watch Over the Garden Wall
I did not, because once again, like
cartoons?
animated things don't really stick in my head, yeah, but I have a lot of friends who really enjoy it. One of my favorite, I hate saying the word content creators, one of my favorite YouTubers, perhaps, she is obsessed with it and she did a cosplay of it, I think. And was
Incredible.
really, really sweet about it. I know the bare minimum.
Well, there's one episode where they go to this like kind of harvest village, I want to
Mhm.
say, and
Oh yeah.
everybody has pumpkin heads,
Oh.
and it's a genuinely very creepy cartoon a lot of the time. And I think the whole thing in that episode was like they were very creepy pumpkin people, and then you find out that the trick is that they're skeletons wearing pumpkin heads, and like
Oh.
it's like you know,
You know, there's a level in Assassin's Creed Valhalla about that too.
incredible,
Pumpkin heads. You can put on a pumpkin head mask and go door to door and go trick or treating
incredible.
in the old world.
But there's one moment in the song, and I feel like it's pretty early on, but I don't remember at this point. I'm sorry, but it sounds like, and I can't tell because I believe Johanna is talented enough to do this, or even it might not even need to be her. But it sounds like that her voice has been put into keyboard prompts, and like the kind of
Yeah,
classic like
okay, okay.
sound
Yeah.
like that Tuomas is kind of known for. It sounds like that, but with Johanna's voice very specifically. And so I don't
Yeah.
know if that was something she did, or if it was done in the post production, or if it actually was that she was recorded into a synth prompt. I'm not sure, but the effect
That
is
would be
very
cool.
interesting and it's cool.
I have a kiss from the earth itself, which I'm like, whenever we used to say we kissed the earth, it meant we fell off our bikes and scraped our face on the ground.
So like
Um,
eating shit
I put, yeah,
the polite way.
I had to remember when I had to explain that to somebody because they thought like there was a direct translation, like, why are you eating poop?
Yeah.
Um, I put chanterelles because they mentioned it, and I'm always like, now every time I hear that, I'm like, well, actually, I know a song. Um, More damn strings, and I put they should enter my lyric contest.
I mean, they would win for sure. It would be unfair to everyone else.
Like, maybe under a pseudonym. Or and I put this reminds me of Fantasia,
Mm, I can
like
see
parts
that.
of Fantasia, or Kingdom Hearts when they go to Halloween Town.
Ooh, Halloween Town is great.
But also, it's giving very 90s like Tower of Terror because I used to have. Oh, I can pull this full circle. I used to have a VHS that was purple, and it was a Disney sing-along songs. And I taught my littlest sister how to read by reading the captions to "When You Wish Upon a Star" when we would sing it. Which is why when
Incredible.
we saw her sing that in December, I cried my eyes out because I was so happy to be able to see my sisters grow up and do that. And I was so happy to tell my dad about it, which is like I'm really that December concert was very good timing. We'll put it that way. Because if I had seen those now, I would probably actually have had to leave. But yeah, it's giving the there's like grim grinning ghosts,
Mm,
and there's a song on there, and it reminded me of this so much. But it reminded me of the spooky little like part of Disney because I think
yes.
this whole album is very Disney and playful and but not Disney like the copyright Disney. Disney
Yeah.
like very the spirit of essence of childhood and whimsy and wonder, but
Yeah.
tackling very hard subjects in a kid appropriate and also just joyful way.
Classic Disney, not modern Disney.
Not eugenics Disney.
Yeah. So, Libraries of Love, powerful intro, but also so soothing.
I
Just
really love it.
very like
Where's my notes? There we go.
emotionally evocative. And like again, there's that stripped down quality that it's not simple. Simple is just again like there's almost like not a word. I feel like we've been circling this whole time that like
Yes.
it's not simple and it's not
And
even
it's not
stripped down.
plain.
It's just kind of a less is more, so that everything that they do is done with such intention that you don't
It's a
need to make it grand.
minimalistic maximalism.
Yes. Yes,
It's a
exactly
conundrum in
that.
itself.
Yes. Practically a
Um,
paradox, but it's perfect.
my notes just say this is so pretty. I actually wrote this is so pretty twice. That's funny. Um, I said it makes me think of my book. I'm not here to self promo, but if you think of all the scenes that happen in the library,
Oh
like,
god, yeah.
and there's a scene coming up in the book that's not written that now I can't escape because this made me think of it in such detail that I have to. Does it say you keep my kin and take mine in?
I'm not sure. I didn't pay too much attention to the lyrics.
Because I just thought it was really sweet. And then I have a note that says, have I ever heard Johanna sing a love song in English? Because I don't think I have, like ever.
Interesting.
Because it felt whereas all the other songs are so ambiguous and they're very, what's the word, like abstract
Mm,
concepts, like they make sense but they're just like words put together that don't have a finite
mm,
meaning, that when you have a song that sounds like a love song, because to me it sounds like a love song, it sounds like someone like falling in love in a library, which I mean, the goal,
right?
but it just says Johanna, and then I wrote in all caps, Johanna is singing, because just in the last like 2-3 years, I think have we really gotten to hear her entire catalog, not like actual catalog, but like capabilities maybe.
Yeah.
There's a tidal wave of euphoric sound that reminds me of a kaleidoscope.
I
And
love that.
then this, yes. Um, and I said, is this a love song? Is it? Like, it's beautiful. If I hadn't had the emotional experience I had to a different song, I think this would end up being my favorite song on the album. And
Mm,
I really thought this would have made a really good single, but
mm.
that's just me.
Yeah, I feel like and the way these guys write too, like it could be a love song, but for all I know, it could be a love song to a library or a book or something like that. So,
Yeah, like because I used to use libraries as safe spaces. If you
mm,
want to cringe at me, and we can laugh at me a little bit, when I was in high school, I was working two full-time jobs and still going to school. And in between my jobs, I would go to the public library with my ginormous Toshiba laptop that was like heavier than my book bag, and I would I would peruse the Nightwish message boards, and I would read Sailor Moon fan fiction, which
incredible.
how did I come full circle and just do it? Same thing, different technology.
I love it,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah,
But I used to do that in the library.
the only other note I have on this is just that I expect this one to open up a lot more over time.
Yes, I'm excited to see, especially it has a lot of potential in a live setting. Anytime that I want to see them dance. I want to see them have fun. We spend so often watching artists just cry on stage because they're emotional, and
Yeah.
I'm not mean about that because we know that's my bread and butter. Like, but I'm just really excited to see where this could go and how they're going to work it for a live setting. Who's going to
Yeah.
be singing? Who's going to be dancing? You know, if you can actually focus on Troy when he's performing, it's actually like he's really fun to watch.
Yes, absolutely.
So he's an interesting one to watch. I think he'll be fun to watch in the song as well. And I
Absolutely.
wrote this would be a fun car karaoke song.
That's true.
Hmm.
All right, so Blakey Ridge. This is the one that I definitely have the most notes on. And there's something about it in the verses that I wish. This is great to me because you told me that at the Eye of Melian show, they did a cover of Tears of the Dragon by Bruce Dickinson. And that's
It was
probably the
beautiful.
number one reason that I'm so choked up that I didn't get to go to that because that's like one of my ancient first ever favorite metal songs. And
You saw the video, right?
I did, yeah. So at least I got a taste.
Knowing all that I know about the people who are performing it, and knowing all I know about their lives, trials, tribulations, that was so on the nose that I'd never heard it before, and I started crying because I was just, do you ever just get overwhelmed with how much you love people and how proud of them you are?
It's incredible.
I just literally just wanted to walk up and give them all a hug and a forehead kiss and tell them they were doing great. I don't know what I wanted to wrap them all up and be like, That was beautiful. And I know that I just love you. I got it was overwhelming.
I can't like I've possibly missed out on my opportunity to see that. I understand. I'm bummed out. I'm glad someone took a video of it so I could get a part of it.
I
And then
think you'll see it again.
I hear this Blakey Ridge song and there's just something so like Bruce Dickinson's solo material is truly some of my favorite music of all time. Like as much of an old Iron Maiden nerd as I am, and
Mm-hmm.
even though they have like 18 albums in their discography, if you told me that I could never listen, like I had to pick between Bruce Dickinson's solo material and Iron Maiden's material, I'm only allowed to listen to one for the rest of my life, I might pick Bruce Dickinson's solo material just for 3 albums out of it, which are Accident of Birth, Chemical Wedding, and A Tyranny of Souls,
Mm-hmm.
which are, I believe, Bruce Dickinson's kind of hot era. And people might fight me on Tyranny of Souls. That's fine. But he has this new solo album, and it's kind of an album that you can tell was patchworked together over 20 years. There was some good stuff on it, there was some cool songs, but on the whole, it just seems like. I don't know. It wasn't as anything as I kind of hoped it would be, and I wasn't expecting it to be also for basically all this reasons. So I hear Blakey Ridge, and in the verses, there's just something that I feel like I wish was on this new Bruce Dickinson solo album. And I think whether that I mentioned before, I'm not sure if this is a guitar or if it's a mandolin or a lute or something. I'm not actually sure because there's something
He can play all of them.
right, and there's something just a little folksy about it, so it's either a stylistic technique or, and I can't remember, is this the one where it even sounds a little flamenco or something, but the
Probably.
guitar sound or whatever it is a highlight of the song for sure. It's so good, and I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
the part that kind of drew me to imagining this in the context of Bruce Dickinson.
Yes. Did you um hear the history of Blakey Ridge?
No.
It's where the first Auri song was performed in a tiny little corner. So think of like a open mic type thing. Uh and like a small little, I don't know if it's a dive bar or not. I don't know much about it. I only know it from somebody else that actually wasn't even in Auri. I heard about how that was where like the first impromptu Auri show took place, but then they were talking about it a couple of days ago and how they just like Troy just did a bunch of Pink Floyd covers in that corner, and like I think it was that's like a popular meeting place. But they were talking in an interview about how like they would take their friends there to go experience it and watch them react to it. So now I want to go. We're gonna go there and we're gonna go find Altamillan Road and then
Perfect.
we're gonna go home or
Yeah.
something.
We're gonna go to an Irish pub and listen to someone sing tunes or something.
Yeah, I'll sing Shipping Up to Boston
There
and
you
start
go.
a circle pit.
So other notes on this one, very like airy and almost flowery chorus, like with these really
Hmm.
sprightly vocals. And there's something kind of stripped down in the keyboards and guitars. Like it's a really simple but catchy keyboard melody, like really works in its favor. And I wrote down, it's like this is the most kind of Nightwish sound I feel in that you can hear in the keyboards. And then I just wrote down Lightwish question mark, and I
That's
like
funny.
bad puns. So, but yeah, like I think it's that kind of like sound that you
Yeah.
gotta. It's like that from Nightwish, but like turned way down again in that less is more sort of way.
It's kind of, to me, it reminds me of one of those songs that you have to sing in a group. Like it reminds me of almost like an Irish drinking song where you get the whole pub in on it and then you start singing together and then it's a big thing and then everyone just gives each other a hug and goes back to drinking when we're done.
Yes.
Like it just feels like a song that was made to celebrate a place and the
Yeah,
feelings that are in that place. How often do we have songs that are made not about people, not about feelings, but about a place, like an ode to a place?
You mentioned like the feeling of like kind of this Irish pubbiness, and I wrote down like the flute solo is great, and it even reminded me because it's very Celtic sounding. So it
Yeah.
reminded me a bit of, I don't know if you've listened to Elveti very much, but they have a lot of Celtic flute
A little
solos in
bit.
their music. So it had definitely kind of an Elveti flair to it.
I know enough about them to spot them and like hear them and know who they are, but I don't know any songs
Mm.
like by heart.
And yeah, I think that's all of my notes on that one. But definitely, I will always appreciate a little Celtic influence. That's, the old,
Yeah, it just feels natural for them too.
yeah. Well, and when I was playing violin as a kid, it was all East Coast stuff, but I never got into like, I didn't have a teacher who could teach me the Celtic music until I went to the
Hmm.
East Coast. So I picked up like 3 songs when I was out there. And that's kind of, I always wanted more Celtic in my fiddle, and I never got it, so I always appreciate it when I hear other people doing it.
Yeah.
Helios, the Greek god who
Helios.
brings the chariot across the sky, or the
Yes.
chariot with the sun. Excuse me.
Yeah. I just wrote vocal layers and dynamic range are out of this world.
I made note that Troy's pipes are definitely in the forefront of this one.
Oh yes. And it reminded me a lot of nope, that's a different song. It reminded me a lot of his pipe additions to one of Johanna's solo albums called Hivasti Dolores Hayes, which has what I consider the very first Auri song, which it's not. It's called Sato Yen Meri and Nakia,
Yes,
which
it's
I
a great
have like
song.
this small little fleeting hope that I'll ever hear that live. I won't, but it's fine. It's we all need unattainable dreams in a small scale sometimes. Keep us going.
Yeah, exactly. It's important. You need to have
It's fine.
something out there that's probably not going to happen just in case.
Exactly. And him scoring my book. Those are my two very unrealistic aspirations that I
Yes,
don't actually
exactly.
try for. I put that the end chanting Helios is so 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 pretty.
Yes. I was just listening to that
Oh,
yesterday, and there's so many versions of that that could have gotten boring or overdone, and they
yes.
didn't do it. So, like,
Yes.
if you ever hear me complaining about Iron Maiden, it's that the one thing that they have a tendency to do that kind of drives me nuts is their chorus is just one line that gets repeated 4 times. And so,
Oh.
like, a good example of this is a song, For the Greater Good of God. And the chorus is just, For the Greater Good of God. Like, just over and over and over. And it's like,
Oh. That's
something else,
boring.
maybe change it up a little.
Yeah. Earlier
So,
when I said not this, but I actually it is this song. The beginning sounds a lot like Finlandia and Troy's rendition. So
that
have
now
you
I
ever
need
heard
to look that
Troy's
up.
rendition?
I have
Oh, it's
not.
beautiful. There was one time where I had a migraine on an airplane to the point where I was seeing colors.
Mm.
And so, but I needed, and there was a baby screaming next to me. So I
Ooh.
put on my headphones and I just listened to Troy's rendition of Finlandia for like 2 hours and I fell asleep, which is the first time I've ever fallen asleep on a plane.
Incredible.
So, um, it makes you kind of want to just stop what you're doing and close your eyes and take a deep breath.
Mm.
And it says, it says long notes. Oh, okay. It reminds me of the opening scene and score to Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Ooh.
So it kind of sounds like Greek mythology, which is the point. It's Helios isn't Greek, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Because my only Greek mythology literally comes from Xena.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. As I very poorly articulated before, Helios rides a chariot that pulls the sun across the sky.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Yes, okay. Oh yeah, you have to fight him in God of War.
That sounds right.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it really reminds me, and now that I'm connecting the Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is set in Greece, um, so I'm looking at you, Tuomas Alpainen, you nerd.
I love it. And
And
also just it's so
oh
fun to come across these things like when you're kind of a mythology nerd yourself and then you just hear someone write a song about some god that you used to be obsessed with 20 years ago, you're like, hell yeah, I'm super happy to revisit this. It's great. I was obsessed with Greek
yeah.
mythology when I was in grade 6 because we studied Greek
Hmm.
mythology in grade 6. And I
And
was
it's
just like,
cool.
I love this stuff. Teach me everything you can. They, of course, did not
Yeah,
teach the weird stories of like Zeus turning into something and having sex with something. I guess that wasn't middle
you
school
know.
appropriate, but
Yeah. I wrote, who is the deep voice at the end? Is it Troy?
I'm not sure either. I think
It
it
sounds like
is, but
Gregorian chanting. It's nice. It was like one of those where like it hit that like the I almost said pH level. No. It hit the auditory level in my head of me. And I just went, and I just like fell backwards. I'm like, oh, you unlocked my brain. It was like, I don't know. That came up and it was like, I don't know. I don't know. It was good. It was good. That's all I know. It made my brain go like sparkles.
your brain got dizzy and passed out for a second.
But really, it was just like, oh, we like that.
There's something wonderful about the concept of just enjoying something so much that you briefly lose consciousness.
Exactly.
Now, as of when we're recording this, I believe Museum of Childhood came out yesterday as a single.
Was that really? No, I think it was the day before.
Was it? Did it come out on a
Yeah, because
Thursday?
yesterday I worked 14 hours
Yeah,
and it
that
came
makes
out the day before,
unusual to release a single on a
July
Thursday.
3rd.
Hmm.
Well, they probably knew that maybe July 4th was not the best day. Because, like, I mean, I'm
Yeah, that's
not,
actually a good call.
because, like, it's a holiday in some parts.
Yeah, that
But,
makes sense. So I have written down
I
for
would
this
celebrate
one
that instead.
Happy Pixie Story Time.
For Museum of Childhood, first off, it feels like a Disney sing along.
Yes.
Have you ever seen The Lion King 1.5?
Yes.
It reminds me of the dig a tunnel, dig, dig a tunnel.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I live near an Adventureland. Like, literally, it's called Adventureland. It's a theme park.
Nice.
And I said the music video was so pretty. Look at all those flowers. Look at all the sunshine. Look at pretty Johanna's hair. Oh my God, is her neck okay? That is so much hair to carry around. I hope someone gave her a shoulder massage. That's
Oh my
brutal.
gosh. I confess I haven't watched it yet. I was supposed to do it earlier and then I
Oh.
forgot.
Mm. I watched it immediately. I watched it like 8 o'clock in the morning because it came out, and then by 8:15, I was sitting in my pajamas on my couch, like scrunched over like a shrimp, making art on my iPad.
Oh
So
my
like
gosh, now that I
15
think of
minutes.
it. I don't think I've actually watched the music video for Shield Maiden either yet.
Oh, Shield Maiden is so beautiful.
What's wrong with me? I don't watch music videos that often, that's my problem. I don't know
But
why.
the Auri ones are mostly usually lyric videos because
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have like a Rolodex of interviews in my head, but I don't necessarily remember who did it. But I think it might have been you when you were at Donella. And they said that Auri is not someone that would be in a music video jumping around. And
Yeah.
all I could think of was like, how do those words taste? Because, I mean, they're not in a bad way, but they are in a music video technically jumping around, but like not in like a rock and roll way.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's, and honestly, I need a Johanna Disney cover album.
Mm.
It also said the music video is just like Johanna walking up to you, grabbing your hands, looking into your eyes, and telling you that the world is still worth living for. Because she's just so cute and happy and like smiling and sparkly, and we
Did
need
that feel
that
like a
a
scene
lot.
out of Aphrodite Rising for you?
Yes, but I didn't want to mention it, and it's funny because if you on the timeline of this, if you think of when this album was written, we probably wrote that at the exact same time. Like,
That's
not one was
incredible.
influenced by the other. We literally probably wrote, whoever wrote the song. Although I'm kind of thinking it's giving Tuomas Holopainen vibes because it's just so
He did have the thing about appreciating
nostalgic.
childhood a lot.
Yes, and like there's a lot to learn from yourself. And I've said this before, but I don't know if I've ever said it on video. One of the most profound realizations I ever had about myself is that I already have every answer for every question I will ever ask myself. I just don't know the question yet.
Mm.
So when you ask yourself a question, you usually don't spend forever and ever thinking about the answer. You know the answer already. You just
Mm.
needed to figure out the question.
Yeah, I love
The
that
most
concept.
like poignant thing that comes to mind is like when you're like 12 and you're like, "Am I gay?" And then the internet goes, "Yeah, honey. Yeah, honey, you are. And you're like, oh, I never thought about it before. Okay. And then you just keep going. Like, that's what I think of. But it feels like one of those songs you listen to when the world is horrible and making you cry and you're having a bad day and you
Mm,
just need someone to give you a hug and tell you that you're doing okay.
yeah. That's also like a song to listen to when you're looking through your scrapbook from like 20 years ago or
Ooh,
something.
a nostalgia soundtrack.
Yeah, like especially one like if you have maybe this is just because I just went my parents sold their house so I had to go back to Canada and clear out my stuff from their garage, and one of the things that me and my brothers had to do was my mom just slams down like a billion pictures from our youth and is like, "All right, what are you taking?" And so the three of us are going through these pictures from like I think they found pictures of me where it looked like I'd just learned how to walk and stuff like
Aw.
that. So
I also
the-
had to do that, but for a very different reason.
yeah,
I had to do it
and
to make a celebration of life poster.
oh dear.
It's okay.
But yeah, and so like it felt like that's the kind of song that you should listen to when you're doing exactly that thing that you're
Yes.
going through. Like I think we found pictures that we had never seen before or hadn't seen in 30 years apiece. Like this is
Um,
exactly the song for that moment.
this made me think of so when my dad died, um, I've never felt more like a child and an adult in a dual timeline in my life because you have to go and unpack all and they say that when someone important like that who's like a mentor or a parent figure passed away, every negative experience you've ever had is gone. And it's
Mm,
true. I can't think of a single bad thing that ever happened to me that involved my dad.
mm,
And the sad part is this song, like I have spent so much of my life telling everybody how much I love my dad all the time that like my childhood was filled with love and flowers and playing and sadness, a lot of sadness, but like nothing that came from that. And so
mm,
when looking through these older pictures, it was so nice to be presented with the fact that I was at some point very happy and
mm,
very engaged and very safe. This song feels like safety. And so
mm,
maybe if you are someone who did not have a safe childhood, like you can reprocess your inner child and listen to this because you're safe now.
mm. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus these people in specific, I've only met two of the three people of Auri, but I feel like I'm grandfathered into meeting the third one. Um They feel very safe. They feel so safe. And
Mm,
they're people that make you feel okay to create things, even if they're not the best of your ability, even if they're not beautiful works of art that get hung in a museum.
mm,
Like, they feel like so appreciative and kind and safe that like having music like this legitimately just feels like almost like a reparenting.
mm. That's so true.
Yeah, we love them. Stream Museum of Childhood.
Yes. Also, just at the end of that song, it sounds like Johanna is singing in Zulu, or someone is singing in Zulu, which is the
I
language
think so.
from the Circle of Life from
Yes.
The Lion King.
And I want lyrics because it just says in
Yeah.
unintelligible lyrical chanting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but I want to know what they're saying because I hate not being able to sing along. And if I make up my own words to it, then it's wrong. That's how I
Mm.
feel about Finnish music too. I'm like, I'm just gonna make up my own words. They sound similar.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I feel like I would be being racist if I was making up words to an African language. So
No, yeah, and like, but the sounds, that's how you learn language is sounds. And so copying the sounds is important, but it's so easy to copy the wrong sounds and get the word wrong in your head forever. But I also want to know, for a second, I was like, are they singing something backwards? Like, is it, are we in the 80s conspiracy era again?
ooh, that would be fun.
What, backwards, they're saying, go to therapy, love yourself.
Really, what would be their backwards message? It's like, don't forget that we're all connected.
Turn your lights off when you leave, pick up your garbage,
Hug a tree.
log out. It's literally saying log out and go outside.
Just touch grass.
Touch grass.
It's like such an insult, but coming from them, it's like genuine advice.
They're like, come touch some grass, and we're like, okay. It reminds me, okay, I have this like I said, this really silly dream that we all sit around a fire and sing along. And Troy and I are gonna sing John Denver together, even though I don't sing, and I don't know if he knows
Naturally.
John Denver. But you know this the scene in The Sound of Music, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, where they're out on their very first outing as a family, kind of with Julie Andrews, and they're sitting on a hill and they're just singing, and they're not rambunctious, but they're kids running around in circles and they're just singing songs and being happy. Like that is what Auri feels like, is sitting on the
Mm,
top of a grassy knoll by yourself with a bunch of like-minded people that you love and just singing and dancing and being free.
yes. That's honestly like a good depiction of this album too.
It is. It's
The
literally
setting is
just
different, but
happy. It's happy, but it's different, varying shades of happy and
yes,
not
exactly.
toxic happy
Yeah, exactly. Like
or fake
happy with
happy.
like spooky happy is still happy, you know.
They're not trying to make you happy. They
No.
wrote it while happy. Not
Yes.
all happy, but like even just happiness can come from sadness too, like gratitude and stuff like that. It's all like it just inspires you to not be sad anymore.
Truly, and like some of the like most joy I've felt creating art myself is like during grief, for example, writing short stories about my late adoptive son and things like that. And that's somehow just like it's a very sad thing to do. I might be, like bawling my face out while I do it, but then I have this thing that I created out of that love, and it's yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and like in the end, I think one of the greatest revolutionary tools that we can have as human beings is the capacity to see good inside of the bad, but not like I said in a different podcast, you have to acknowledge all the bad things in life. You literally cannot avoid them. And if you
Yeah.
avoid them, they just compound and they don't go away.
Yeah, then you just end up
You
in
have to
toxic
acknowledge them.
positivity.
Yeah, and then also you just end up dealing with a much larger issue later once it's too late or you burned your bridges or you're 50 and angry and wondering why no one likes you. And it's because you've been not addressing your issues for years and years. But
Mhm.
yeah, you have to acknowledge the bad, but you can welcome the good. One of my points and cases, my father did pass away 2 days before I was supposed to launch my book. And I didn't know how to cope with that. I didn't know how to deal with that. But it was genuinely, if you had known me at all, my biggest nightmare in life was losing my dad ever. And it happened, but then I survived and I came out the other side unscathed. And
Mm.
like, I had always had anxiety nightmares for years and years that I would travel and my dad would die and I wouldn't be able to come back. Or I'd find out in the middle of a concert, or I'd find out, in front of people. But I never thought about what would happen afterwards.
Mm.
And the fact that I never even thought about a life after that, but I am currently living my life after that, my biggest fear came true. And so nothing seems as scary as it ever was before.
I totally know that feeling. It's kind of the same thing with my kid, who is just, the light of my life, and that's gone, and I'm still here, and that sucks and it's hard sometimes, but I'm still here and I still feel the love and all that sort of thing. So your worst nightmare literally can come true, and as weird
You
as
will
it is,
survive
life
it.
life does go on and you will survive.
But there is a big relief that comes off your shoulders when you realize you don't have to spend the rest of your life with that danger looming over your head because it already happened.
Absolutely.
So I
Exactly.
don't have that. I mean, I have other anxieties, plenty, but like I don't have to worry about my dad dying ever again because it happened and it can't happen twice
Exactly.
unless it's in fiction. But still, like it's I can't. And so I have where all that anxiety was, that's part of my brain and my thought process that has been restored. I can use that for greater purposes.
Hey, shout out to you for writing such an incredible book about grief before your grief kicked you.
Oh my God. I know. I'm like, who? The audacity that I had of writing that book and then going back and I've never read the final draft of that book. Never. I can't. I have such weird things about writing or reading things that I've written, but there's parts of that where I'm like, dang, okay, so maybe you were onto something. And then life was like, we told you. We told you. But yeah.
That's an kind of spectacular form of validation, is just when you come
Yeah.
up with something and then life is like, you nailed it, girl. Good job.
I know, I'm like, dang, look at me. But also now I'm scared to write anything because what if something else comes true and then suddenly I'm cursed and I'm just rewriting history.
Well, only both of my grandmothers died while I was listening to the same song, so I didn't.
Oh my God.
Or rather, I found out about it to the same
Oh,
song. And
that's
yeah. Yes. So, anyways, Shield Maiden.
I love Shield Maiden.
I want to say, like, the biggest like note that I wrote on this is it's surprisingly not very representative of the overall style and sound majority of the album. Like,
Yes.
it's definitely on the lighter side of things atmospherically, and I feel like there's more like mystery or spooky in some of the other songs. And so I was quite surprised because usually, the first single is the one that sets the scene, and
Right.
this is a great song, but I feel like it's actually on like the minority side of sound for the album.
So, in a recent interview, Troy had said that Museum of Childhood and Shield Maiden kind of go hand in hand in that they're opposite ends of a spectrum. They are
Mm,
so different. So the juxtaposition of them together, which makes me want to write something tying those two together.
right.
But it, well, part of me is wants to sit down and be like, which one of you wrote this and who is it about? Because I want to know. But then, but I don't want a finite answer. I want to keep
Yeah.
theorizing about who it could be about
And you can
because
have like the million different theories. Like you might be watching
yeah,
Xena one day and be like, "This is a
I
Xena
thought about it.
song,"
She
and
was a shield maiden in an arc. She was a shield maiden for a while and a Valkyrie.
there you
But yeah. And I think there's if you want to unpack it because I'm going for a BA in English, so you have
go.
to bullshit everything and unpack things that don't need to be unpacked and theorize and like but the shield maiden, I love the idea of it being someone you walk past every day and have no idea who they are, but you just nod at them and you have no idea what they're capable of, no idea what they do. You don't know their name. You just know them enough to recognize them by face. So, what if it was like superheroes among mortals?
Mm,
The girl next door.
truly, I love that. Just like I feel like that kind of ties in even to this like the whole like theme behind the Vitmar Chronicles that I've been writing is just this idea that you don't need to save the world to be the hero of your own story, and
Mm-mm.
you don't need to be like in context of this song, you don't need to be surviving a great calamity for someone to be like a protector or a savior in your own life as well.
You know what breeds calamity? Abnormality.
Abnormality.
Nerd alert. No, but like I love the idea of so because it's Johanna singing it, I thought in the context of that and the music video, which if you see it, it's just them in like a dark area and she's singing in her cute little spooky dress. And it kind of feels like someone who has been in darkness for so long finally being able to see light. So maybe it's indicative of a depressive episode or a depression period where, like, given everything that I know about anybody involved, like maybe because artists, our brains are our greatest tool, but also our biggest enemies. So they can turn on you on a dime. So,
Mm,
like, what if the Shield Maiden is you coming out of a really bad depressive episode and learning to love your life again?
incredible. Now I need to re-listen to this under this context because, for example, I just had an experience, like a physical experience, and I like looked it up and I was like, what on earth just happened to me? And the best explanation I can find is that my heart chakra opened. And I don't know anything about that stuff, I find it interesting. I don't really know much about it. And so I looked up this description. What does this feel like? And I'm like, check mark, check mark, check mark on this whole list. And I started thinking about it like, okay, on the theory that this is true, this is what happened, like that would make sense if my heart has been kind of slammed shut, for example, ever since my kid died. So it's, yeah, now I want to re-listen to this and just see if I kind of connect to it on that sense of like coming out of a dark period and starting to feel nice things again.
Well, yeah, and like when it's like okay, and also I'm thinking about the lyrics now because there is lyrics available for that. One of the things I thought of was um Auri, the character, because it's like oh my God, I have to look it up now. The sweetness of silence at the edge of forever, no longer a human but dweller of the stars, a bauble of memory engraved in it their hurt. Now, if you look at like Auri's biography on like the Kingkiller wiki, it says something very similar to that. And I know that we can't keep comparing Auri to Auri because I'm gonna be really honest. Every time someone's like, you're based off of the book series, I'm like, they've said like 50 times, it's not just that. Google is
Yeah,
free, my
truly.
dude. But
Truly.
it's like the Shield made it in the night of human mind, like a subconscious.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
See and
Now,
remember her, like yeah. See,
so you've read the slow guard of silent things, right?
I read the first 40 pages of it, and then I fell off of it through no fault of anything other than life being busy, and I forgot. Also, I refused to finish uh the Wise Man's Fear. I have 90 pages left, I think, and I have it's been like stuck there for almost a year now.
Okay, well, I more or less,
You
like
can, there's no,
the
yeah,
point, right? Like, it's not
yes,
important that you know the whole thing, but just
no.
the idea of someone like this character I love so much because she's clearly broken in some ways, but she's also like transcendent in some ways. Like she understands things that most people don't on like a deeper level, and a lot of people would just call her crazy for that, but
Or they think she's stupid. They
yeah,
literally think she's stupid. They think that she's just
like,
like,
oh, she's talking to like items.
she
What a
wasn't
weirdo.
done cooking in the womb or something.
Yeah.
Like, and
No.
so, but she's way more intelligent than she comes across. She just has a specific way of speaking that people don't understand.
All right. So my photographer that I work with regularly has this theory that Auri is going to like turn evil at some point. And because of course the doors of stone may never see the light of day, so we get to theorize as much as possible. But she thinks that
I'll write
Auri
it
is going
instead.
to she's going to turn evil and then uh but like have a redemption arc as well. And I forget, I need to ask her again what her theory is because she just told me like 2 days ago and now I already can't remember exactly what it is. That would be interesting with that character, I feel like, to see if she had kind of a villain arc. But that would be a cool shield maiden moment to see Auri like traversing through a dark space and then coming through on the other side, because I believe theory also includes that Auri will be the savior in the end, but she'll probably die.
I have almost a tangible picture in my head of her breaking the bars of the under thing to get out and
Mm.
stomping through the university to save her best friend. And but like stomping, when like the sweet little girls get mad and their eyes turn white and like
Mm.
shit starts flying off the wall and lightning is striking and she starts talking in tongues, but really she just knows the names of way more things than people think she does because they like to
Yes.
talk in front of her because they don't think she's listening and she is. And
Yeah,
so she brings chaos and ruin.
she knows the name of like every item on the floor and like every brick on the
Yeah, and
wall, and
she
so
can
she can
undo
just
it
like
all from
control the world around her just by asking politely.
yes, instead of commanding, she's like, "Please, sir, will you die?"
Mhm.
But like, or just like shit, like unraveling from the fabric in which it's made.
Yes.
So like, basically like untying the universe around her and just stomping through this university, like, give me back my friend. And then I have a sneaky feeling her and who's the crazy professor or whatever that's locked
Eladin?
away?
Yeah.
Yes, is that him? The one that's locked away?
He's like
And no,
his
this guy's like
office
locked up
is
in a
like
cage
in the mental
almost.
institution or something like that. I forget
Is that
exactly how it
him?
works. Eladin is the professor who is the guy who's like Auri.
No, I'm the one where they
He's
go
the
to and
naming teacher.
no, this is he's a former professor, or maybe he's a student, and they visit him and he looks at Quoth and he's like, yeah, I don't like you. But the boys all go visit him all the time because something went wrong with him when he was doing something. And I'm gonna look it up real quick. Oh, oh yeah, Alder Wynn, the Master Eladin's former Giller. He's confined to Haven, the university's mental institution. He's depicted at being terrified of falling, went outside and panicked about the wind, and they visit him. Um, his madness is implied to have resulted from his studies in naming under Elodin. Yes.
Hmm.
And so I'm wondering if those two are in like secret cahoots or like there's a secret door to the under thing.
Hmm.
And those two together, the people, the chronic underdogs that people don't even, they're inconspicuous.
Hmm.
They just come wreak havoc and save the world and ruin the institution.
I truly like that. That's another thing that you could do infinite theories about, but
It's good writing.
it's good writing. I
Hmm.
understand why people don't love the main character and his love interest. I fair enough, but gosh, that prose
His
and that
love
world
interest
building.
is himself. Let's be real.
All right, so a boy traveling with his mother. Yeah, I'm gonna need a few rounds to unpack that one because, as I've mentioned, I have a bit of a thing about boys and their moms and my adoptive son and all that whole thing. So I see a song name with the boy traveling with his mother. I'm like, what does Nika call it? Emotional damage song?
Yes.
Yes.
I was very, very stoned at the point where I finally heard this song, and I was in a fragile state, and I might cry. Hearing Johanna say, like, is it Johanna? It has to be her, right? Like, there's no way it's
I
not her
think so.
talking. Where it says, hold my hand, come on, careful. And I started bawling because I've never been spoken to that way before. Like, even as a kid, my parents didn't really baby talk me, and I didn't really have a mother for most of my life. So that, like, was like that, like, chokehold already. And I just have never been spoken to that kindly. And so immediately I got really, really, really emotional, and I was like, all right, hold on. And then the further I got into it, I was, was like being a little stoned and I like fell into the song and I had my eyes closed, had my headphones on, the light was off, like I was in it. And the orchestrations, I imagined myself being at like a child, like POV, you're a child and you're running through a field holding your parents' hand and they're just telling you all these things and being so kind. And I used to have that. Like before my sisters were born, my dad would take me to like we have like a little we call it the district, but during the day it's like a village of shops and like restaurants and like tiny little small businesses and stuff. And he would put me on his shoulders and we would just run around and he'd be like, touch the top. And so I would touch the top of a building and like it was just our time. And my favorite memory is we used to live next to a gas station, and my dad and I would walk hand in hand to the gas station every single day. And he would buy a pack of cigarettes, and there would be $1.25 left over. So he would buy a large black coffee and a small black coffee. Yes, he fed me black coffee at age like 6.
Oh dear.
And I know it was really small. It was like espresso sized.
Okay.
And we would walk back to my house, and my dad and I would play chess. We would play chess for like 4 hours, and I was so bad at it. I'm still so bad at it. But it was our bonding time, and he would humor me and like kid little like rhetoric, and like we would talk about life and we would talk about smart people things, and he made me feel so smart, and I would tell him about everything in my life. I was 6. So it was really just like, have you seen the spider on the window? It's really pretty and she's got purple legs and I wonder if her name is Fiona. And then he'd be like, maybe I shouldn't give you coffee. But I just remember I remember that alone time with my dad, and really I've forgotten about it just because so much life has happened since then. And then so having someone that I truly do, because we know Johanna, my bestie, like having her speak so kindly through a song, and I was already vulnerable, instant bawling. Um, and then at first I assumed that Tuomas wrote this, but the more I listened to it, the more I don't think he did.
Mm,
Um, I think it was Troy, which it doesn't matter who did it,
mm,
but because he mentioned in an interview that they recorded his mother saying something, and I think his mother speaks in this song very
mm,
quietly. Um, it sounds like you're on a train. Now, I live in the US, so we don't really have a lot of trains. But I've been on a train before. And is it truly the is the music the path of like running along the street with your parent, getting on a train with them and swinging your feet and looking at the scenery pass by and then changing trains and then hearing the din of people talk and you don't care what they're saying because you have imagination and you're a kid. And so I could visualize what was happening as the song was going. And it was kind of like I was just 6 years old again.
God, I
It was
love
really
that so
cool.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it that also like when I separate myself from it at least, um, the sweetness of it kind of invokes the Moomins again. Like I see Moomy
Yeah.
like and Moomy Mama like going for a walk together or something, and
Yeah.
just the way that like the wholesomeness of that series and the way like you can imagine like a young Moomy being like, "Mommy, what is this butterfly? It's so pretty," you know.
Yeah, there's an naivety, but we always use that in a negative sense. But
Mm,
sometimes it's a really good thing, because
mm-hmm.
or like that YouTube channel or the Instagram channel, Recess Therapy, where they ask really complex adult questions to little kids and see what they get in response, and it's just
Yes.
so refreshing. And
Yeah.
also, all we see all the time is kids being abused and dying, and we never get to see them happy. I was recently on a vacation in Atlanta, Georgia, and we went to an aquarium. And I actually started tearing up because I just got to see so many kids just being kids and having fun and being like, look at the fish. And like, it was such a reminder that there is a whole world out there of kids being loved and having fun and taking day trips with their parents. And you don't need much when you're a kid. You just need to feel safe and you just need to have like a roof over your head. That's all you care about.
Mm.
Hmm.
So
Safe and
true.
sound. I haven't. She knits the fabric of love and it stretches across the world. Is that like a boy looking at his mother and being like, "You are my whole world"? I didn't have that feeling, but I actually was gonna write a poem in response to this called "A Girl Traveling with Her Dad,"
That's
but
perfect.
I don't know if I'll be able to do that.
I understand. That's pretty hard stuff to write. I
Yeah, I have. It gets faster and faster and faster and explodes in the colors of sounds. And the exploding in my head was a metaphor for an adult being on their own in life. So like you explode from your childhood out into the big, big, overwhelming world. And this whole song reads like a montage of scenes of a life being lived. And I didn't realize how much I needed affirmations from a loved one because I viewed them as affirmations. And I mean, it's not about me. It's never going to be about me. It's an ambiguous song about a boy traveling with his mother. I am not a boy and I don't travel with my mother, but I know the feeling of having someone care for you and have your safety in mind
Mm,
and just being like, that's my person, don't mess with them. Be nice
mm,
to my friend.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It invokes actually like a very precious memory that I have that my kid and my friend and I had done a road trip up to Tampere to see my favorite band, Ember Falls, playing, and there was just like this blizzard when we were driving back from Tampere after the show, and
A blizzard is
like
coming.
yeah, right? Wild. And he was sitting in the back seat, but like just and like my other friend's in the front seat and he's probably like drunk and passed out after the show or something like that. And he and I are just listening to music and driving, and like I have to be very focused on what I'm doing because I can't see almost anything, but I have my arm around me through the seats because he's holding my hand. And
Aw.
he's just like holding my hand and kind of like rubbing my fingers, and just like there's this beautiful bonding moment where like he's keeping me calm and I'm just like, yeah, I'm all good because nothing is gonna stop me from getting this boy home safe.
There you go.
Nothing in the universe is gonna
So
stop this,
we are the two subjects in this song in different scenarios because I would be the boy and you are the mother.
right?
Have you ever heard the song The Mother by Brandy Carlisle?
I have not, but I know
You
her mama
know,
werewolf, so.
I love Brandy Carlisle. Johanna Kurkela and I bonded over her. And actually, before Aphrodite Rising was Aphrodite Rising, it was called the first line from that song, which is "Welcome to the end of being alone inside your mind."
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
good. It's a good line.
it's about her and her partner wife adopting their first child or having a child via like other methods, but it's their promise to her. Um, and it's just a really beautiful song that depicts something very similar to this. But I just love the idea of welcome to the end of being alone inside your mind.
Mm, that's
You're tethered
incredible.
to another and you're worried all the time. I think is the next line.
Okay, so I clearly, because she's got all these kind of like mom related songs, because that's like
Yeah.
when Ultimal and Road were doing Mother Werewolf, I was a little bit like, hmm.
I was going through some mommy issues, like unpacking some mommy issues at that point as well. And those two just have like they make me feel safe. And that was right after freaking What Was I Made For?
Right?
Could you imagine that? Oh my God.
Yeah, so I
So
clearly need to listen to more of her stuff so I can.
that's why I'm glad. Thank you for asking them the question about what they were made for. I felt like maybe two of them had no idea what I was talking about, but I know Johanna knew what I was talking about.
Yes, for sure. I also had that feeling, but I feel like that kind of gave it part of its charm.
Yes, because I didn't have any preconceived notions about what was going to be said.
Mm,
It's just, hey, I'm checking in on you. How are you doing? Are you still feeling the same way you felt when I asked you that question
mm.
a year and a
And
half ago?
if anyone's wondering what we were referring to, it is the interview that I did with Auri recently. So check that out. It'll be
Yeah,
out before this. So
like and
anything
subscribe.
anything else on this album or the other albums, or have we talked
Well,
for
I just,
2 hours
on this
now?
song still, I love that it's an 11-minute song because it literally feels like if you could pick a slideshow of all the best memories of your life, you'd want it set to this song.
That's very true, yes.
Also, maybe I just want Johanna Kurkela to look at me in a sweet little tender way and say, "Hold my hand, be safe." I think I need that.
Yeah.
It says I have a visual note because in the beginning I was doing what pictures popped into my head, but then
Mm.
I got distracted and didn't continue that. I can see holding hands with someone and running through the fields and looking at as a child POV, like the flowers come up to your shoulders because that's how short you are, and just looking at this big ginormous world and then looking up at a parent who's like, "It's okay, you're safe, you're okay, you're with me." Like, and I'm just like, dang. The world would be a much easier place to navigate if everybody got to feel that way.
Mm. It's so true.
Yeah.
I read the most absolutely heartwarming thing. There's this woman that I don't actually think I'm subscribed to her, but I follow her because her notes are so heartwarming, and it's generally about the relationship she has with her son, who I think is somewhere
Mm-hmm.
between the ages of like 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And she just talks about all these moments where he's just being a kid, and she just is kind of in awe of this incredible, like, weird, brilliant, quiet intelligence that kids have sometimes.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But she also told this one story from her own childhood when they were out like on a trip somewhere and she was from the city, so she had never seen like a star full of sky a star full of sky a sky full of stars before. And so it was like the middle of her night and her father came and woke her up and was like, come on, like I got something to show you, in this kind of conspiratorial tone or something, and brought her outside and she got to see the like sky just exploded full of stars for the first time. And then she and her dad just stood there like staring at the sky in awe together, and I got so choked up reading that. Just like everybody should have a moment like that in their childhood where they just get to like have their parents show them something that they can just be in awe of for the rest of their life.
The way we call those core memories, where you have a core memory where you just got to sit with someone and be. When's the last time you just
Absolutely.
sat with someone with no purpose and you were just gonna be?
It's a
Like,
wonderful
I can't think
feeling
of the
to
last
find.
time. I mean, I get to do that all the time with literal be. Like,
Mhm.
but I don't know. That it's important to do that because we can't be on all the time. I was reading something recently posted by someone on Instagram about how people who are well regarded and well known, they don't get to be off. They are
Mm.
public facing all the time.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
true.
about who Robbie Williams, I think is who it was, and how
That
he
makes
has
sense.
severe flying anxiety and he was on a plane and people kept coming up to him and saying, "Can I take a picture with you?" And he's mid panic attack, but he can't show it. And they're like, "Can I take a picture with you? Can I sit and talk to you on a flight?" And then it sparked a good conversation about people who are, especially musicians, if they come across as cold, then they're labeled a bitch. Or if they have a bad day, or if they're sick, like they have to be on all the time
Hmm.
and they can't turn off. And that would be really hard to like imagine losing your sense of self because you're on all the time and you don't know the last time you were off
Yeah. It's basically like artists have to be masking basically all the time. And
all the
like
time.
anyone from the neurodivergent community knows that masking all the time fucking sucks.
It does, it's hard and it's draining. And that's
Mm,
how people burn out. And that's how you
exactly.
lose your love for things is when you're on all the time. And that's why, like, I know in Finland, is it Mokki? Where everyone goes out for the summer. And they're
Mökki,
basically like, by the way, yeah, don't even talk to me until freaking September. And I'm like, I'm jealous. You're lucky
truly.
if I get a weekend off.
I love Finland so much because when people get like overstimulated here, they're just like, I'm gonna walk into the woods and I'm gonna come out when I'm done. And that's
Yeah,
just like normal, like everywhere else in the world, like the woods are like dark and scary, and in Finland's like, no, I go there to be reborn, and it's great.
I'm gonna go be one with the trees and maybe I'll befriend a beetle and then I'll come
Right?
back. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm just gonna play Oblivion for 3 hours and forget that I'm a human being. And then I'm gonna go to work.
Auri, anything else we have to say?
Just that their music is so intentional. Nothing is
Mm.
accidental. They're just people that they choose their words very carefully and they choose their actions very carefully, but also just they're so funny and we take them so seriously. But God, they're so funny.
They're so
Like, I
whimsical.
think in music, I feel like everything is always full send, 10 out of 10 emotion. When, in all honesty, they're the people who wrote about a girl getting drunk in the woods and looking for mushrooms. Like, we don't gotta take a. This album's pretty serious. Like,
Mm.
it's not as silly. It's not as silly goose as them their chanterelles. But there, I swear, part of the end of that when they're like, "I am singing this song," like part of that song, I swear I heard that in one of these songs on this album, and I can't remember which one it was. But um, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's cool to see them evolve, and it's
Right?
cool to see all of them literally play equal parts.
Yes.
Because there's not much this band can't do on their own.
Oh, truly. This is such like a wonderful step forward from the last ones. Like 4 listens, not nearly enough to even begin digesting this. but
Yeah.
you know, we do have to do this before you start going to school. So otherwise, we
I
could have
already
done this a
started,
month
but I'm
ago.
already ahead.
There you
Don't
go.
worry. I got good
So
time management skills. My treat for finishing my first session is literally to go to Finland, where I will
perfect.
see Auri as many times as I can. I wish I could see them I wanted to go see them in Paris because one of the Ultima and Toads lives in Paris,
Yes.
and Nika will be there, and I really wanted to go to that. I also really want to go to their last show in Norway,
Mm,
but it's been traveling a lot. And I'm just asking politely if that any of them have any holiday plans to please let me know now.
right?
Because my next year is shaping up to be very busy as well for travel. So we'll see.
Yes. I think this album is coming out at the perfect time of year.
Yes.
Still like the sun of summer, but like kind of approaching the spooky season. I think is just, I hate when an
Yes.
album comes out at the wrong time of year, so this is perfect.
Yes. Auri is literally the golden hour of music.
Yes, exactly that. And I love people who are just willing to take whatever feels good, take whatever feels inspiring. Like, who cares about genre? Who cares about expectations? Like,
They're the
you
anti-genre, actually.
exactly. Like, I would just call this like fantasy music, honestly, more than anything else. It's just, it's music from fantasy lovers that's inspiring for other fantasy lovers. It's just, you know,
It's
like,
wonder, it's whimsy.
and if you're someone like us who writes fantasy stories, it's the perfect soundtrack to write to. It's also the perfect soundtrack to
Yes.
listen to in the sauna if you happen to be in Finland or a place that has good saunas.
No, but I love taking showers in the dark with just a
Mm,
candle
that's
and
also incredible.
no music at all. But sometimes if I really want to like be one with something, if you can get headphones that go underwater,
Yes.
and you go swimming and you just lay face down like Pinocchio in the puddle and you just like vibe to that and you just become one with a stone. POV here a rock
Yes, exactly.
in the
Oh.
sea of Auri.
Yes.
I am just a pebble in the sea of Auri.
Ah, a glorious little pebble in a glorious little sea.
We have been weathered and worn. I don't write for a living. I don't ever want to write for a living. I write for a hobby, but I think now I'm gonna write a little story about a girl traveling with her dad.
I think you should. I would definitely read that.
Maybe I'll send it to him. I don't know.
They'll enjoy it. They always do.
I think at this point they're probably like, Kathy, please just stay in America and be quiet. Log off. Go touch some grass, okay? I know it's like 38 Celsius there, but please go touch some grass. Go take a breath of fresh air.
The
Go
grass is on
fishing.
fire, but you know.
You know, it's fine. The government agency that's like a quarter of a kilometer from my house is like number 10 on the international hit list. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, if you ever have to just escape, come over here. We'll take you. It's fine.
You know how many times I've been like, I'm just gonna live in someone's shed in Finland. I
You
have
can rebuild
all
the
summer
root
to figure
cellar
it
at
out.
our house to be your whole little private chamber.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I'll go work at a Starbucks in freaking Finland. I'm sure they love me.
There you go. You can work at the one at the airport. It's fine.
That would be fun, actually.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, maybe I'll, I don't know, since I got permission
There
for questions. Who knows?
you go. Well, we've been talking
Auri,
about
I
this
love
for like
you.
2.5 hours. Uh, long and short, Auri is incredible. You should check out their new album out on August 15th. And if you see us at any of the shows, maybe Kite, Tampere, Helsinki, you know, come say hi.
Please come say hi. I'm very
Enjoy.
social, and I have no idea what's ever happening around me. So you might have to be like, "Hi, this is my name from Instagram," and I'll be like, "Hi, your name from Instagram." How's the Like, but
Incredible.
yeah,
Well, I'll see you in August.
I'll see you next time.